Okay, so welcome in. We have Jaime McFaden with us, Mama Bear, Care Bear, voice actor, self care guru, published author, former flight attendant with me at Virgin America, amazing human, Mama Bear to two. And I don't know how you do it. And I think you're going to tell us a little bit about how you do it and what that sometimes looks like. And even when you have lots of amazing things in front of your name and in your introduction, you still feel human once in a while. So welcome to the
You
Global
ever have
Themes
those days
Festival.
where you ever have those days, let me ask you all this, and Kat, thank you so much for that introduction. Do you ever have those days, everyone, where you're like, I don't know if there's any shoes left to drop at this point. I don't know what else we could do that would just make me feel like I can't do this. Does anybody ever experience that? Or it's just me?
Oh no, I had like two solid years of that. So just kind of F it at this point. Yo, Crank and Chris, welcome
Yeah.
in.
Yes. So, well, thank you so much. First and foremost, I want to take a moment here. I came in while I was driving earlier and was listening to Kat, Tony, and I'm going to totally mess up the other person's name.
Liminal faces.
Yes, thank you. The guy with the mask. And was just so happy. And it just brought so much joy to my heart to see people gathering together around music, around health and well being, and bringing others together to do the same thing and doing it so well. So, first of all, I want to take a moment to appreciate every single person that's here right now on the Discord. By the way, my very first time doing Discord on a video like this, I have no idea. Like, I don't know who's on. I don't. So, usually, and Kat knows this about me, I like to chit chat with everybody and be really interactive, which we're going to be regardless of if I can see you or not. But what I want to share is, Kat, you are an exceptional individual. So exceptional that despite me, like I said today, wanting to cancel and actually canceling everything else in the day because my kids and I are just came off of having the flu, haven't slept in over a week. There's been a million different reasons why I could have easily said, you know what, I just can't make it today. But there was something because it's you. And so I want everyone to take a moment here to think about the people in your life. And Kat is someone who really does a great job at bringing others together to support one another and meet each other where you're at. So you might be laying down and not feeling so great today. Maybe you're feeling really awesome today and you're having an up day. But Kat is such a wonderful person that utilizes many, many, many talents, as we all know. I hope you know how many talents this girl has. But she does a really exceptional thing that brings people together. And that's why for me, this was a very hard 100% yes today, despite everything else. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Kat. Thank you so much for asking me to be here today. I love you. I adore you. I appreciate you. And yeah, the Care Bears clearly were making a comeback. So
Care Bears
get your outfit
2025.
ready.
You heard it here first, guys. Jamie, thank you so
Yeah.
much. You're one of, I think, two people where when the phone rings, no offense to everyone else, but I'm like, hey, it's her. and I'll always pick it up. Everyone else, I'm sorry. I'm a millennial. Not going to do it.
It's a huge honor. It's
It
a
really
huge
is.
honor. Thank you so much. And so today I figured I know that you all did some meditation with Tony, a little bit of movement. I was in the car like doing some tapping and we're doing a lot of the somatic self-care and really diving into self-care. I missed obviously a chunk of earlier, so forgive me if I kind of tap into anything, but what I really felt on my heart today most of all more than anything is we are entering this new year 2025 and we've started off with some really rocky roads all the way around. There's a lot of sickness going on. There's a lot of fires going on. There's still unfortunate situations globally going on. There's a lot of things outside of ourselves going on that are completely out of our control one on one that are going on that are really difficult and challenging. And so, therefore, there is literally nothing more important. There is nothing more important right now than what I'm about to share with you. And it is this important that I hope you will literally grab a pen and paper. Is today, I want you to really ask yourself, what does self care mean to you? In your life, as it is, wherever you're at, I don't know if you also stream stuff, if you're a gamer, if you're a DJ, you're clearly creative, you're here today. But when you think about self-care, write down self-care is, and what is it to you? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? What is the first thing that comes to your heart? What is the first thing that you look at and you're like, is that really what it means to me? I don't know, but maybe. And I want you to sit with that for a moment. So, self care by definition, and I would love if anybody has questions along the way, please be sure to make sure and put your questions either in the chat or we'll save some time for sure at the end. But I want to make sure if anybody has questions that I can help you specifically, because any question you have, certainly somebody else is going to have as well. So, when it comes to self care, all right, I've studied this now for 15 years solid. In fact, more, getting closer to 20, to be honest. And self care became a buzzworthy topic for me when I was a teenager and lost my dad really quickly, unexpectedly, and was absolutely devastated, gutted, and depressed, and just went through a lot of different things. And I realized in that moment, there's so much out of our control. There's so, like, we could do all these right things, right? Like, I have a friend that did all these great things and then still lost everything. I have a family member who was the perfect leading example of what it means to da 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 da, and then their life totally flipped upside down. So, what does that mean when it comes to self care? And it really put me on a whole trajectory of changing every part of my life. And one at a time, I started checking boxes first. So, self care by definition is taking action to preserve or enhance one's own well being. What does that mean? It means literally taking responsibility for the things that you possibly can, taking action every single day. This is a practice, just like doing a yoga practice, just like getting on and doing your Discord or your Twitch, just like whatever it is that you're doing on a daily. I need you to really think about, what are you doing to enhance your well being? Now, there's a little catch here, because like I just said, you could be doing all these great things, right? Like, think about someone you know right now that has all the money, right? Think about the person you know that has all the success in the way that you're dreaming of it or whatever else, or the person that has that relationship that you want or whatever else. We have a lot of things out of our control. A lot of the time we forget that, and we think that by doing these certain specific things, we're going to have control. I hate to break it to you. I'm not here to tell you that you're going to make all your dreams come true if you just put the action and the hard work and discipline, and everything's going to work out just your way. Probably not going to happen. In fact, you'll probably be pretty disappointed if that's what you think will happen. And so, what I want to remind you is self care is a radical act. Self care is about doing the things 9 times out of 10 that you don't really want to do in the moment, but you darn well know that by doing it, you're going to feel better later, and it's going to consistently be better. So now I want you to think back on, what does self-care mean to you? Self-care, a lot of times I hear when people think of self-care, they think about prioritizing themselves, time, having time for you, saying no, creating boundaries. These are just things that maybe have come up for you. Maybe it's making more time for your physical well-being. Maybe it's working on your finances. And I've done enough talks, hundreds, if not thousands of talks and meetings and workshops and classes to hear the feedback, and enough students and enough clients that it's consistently a lot of the same reasons why we're not prioritizing our self-care. And can you guess, can anyone guess what the number one reason we don't prioritize our self-care? What is it? I can tell you as a mother, it's real clear. And it's usually not just if we're a mother or if we're a brother or wherever we are at in our life on this journey, but we are often feeling like we don't have enough left to give to ourselves. We're so depleted. We're running on there's no oxygen in the tank coming through. And we're then trying to say, okay, well, once I do all these things, right? I got to do the job thing. I got to make the money. I got to take care of the kids. I got to walk the dog. I got to then I'll take care of myself. And so, believe it or not, we've got a pretty backwards mind frame around what self-care is. And the other alternative to that is that we believe it's this thing that we just kind of check the box, right? Like, go do the workout, drink the extra glass of water, which I'm going to tell you is really important. So go get your water and stay hydrated. However, There are so many deep things when it comes to self-care that I don't I don't want you to just sit in the what I call the shallow surface area of self-care. This is like wash your face, drink your water. Duh, we know these things. And yes, it really helps when we have someone keeping us accountable or when we have the discipline for it. But what I want you to think about today is on a much deeper level. And here's why. We're living in a state of the world where many of us feel like we are barely getting by, where many of us feel like we are beyond burnt out, where many of us feel like we literally don't know how we're going to keep showing up like this because we are so flipping exhausted. Feel me? So, what does that mean? There needs to be a radical shift. And this radical shift is something that's going to come from within you and me. And then we need to come together on that. So, what is this? All right. Let me explain something to you. Self care has been around forever. Forever. In fact, self care was actually made popular back about 40 years ago. And then before then, about 1,000 years ago. And then before then, another 1,000 years ago. And so self care isn't going anywhere. Self care is literally the most important thing that we need to do. So here's what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you something that I've spent years curating and putting together. And this is a piece that if you take nothing away else than this of what I'm sharing with you today, you're going to walk away feeling better, wiser, more calm, and more connected within. And so it's called the wave, right? So just like the ocean, just like this little curly thing going on in my hair here, the wave is a system that I've created. So we know self-care, by definition, it's doing the things that we know we need to do for our well-being, right? Now, I want to remind you, we have different areas of our life. And so today, for the purpose of today, I want you to focus on one area of your self-care. And I'll give an example of one of them. So there's 6 that I like to call the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and financial. Okay? 6. If anybody wants to write those down in the chat, great. I'll tell you them again. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and financial. Financial is not last, by the way. It touches on all of them. They all do. So they're kind of this beautiful circle. And they are very cohesive when they are cohesive. But when one's really out of whack, it can pull on all of the other parts of our life. So the WAVE system. The WAVE system is a way that we can look at these things through a lens of compassion and love, because that's the other thing. We forget so often that in order to take care of ourselves, we must give ourselves grace, we must have compassion, and we must give ourselves love. How hard is it? And I want you all to think for yourself, how hard is it to actively practice self-care on a daily when we're constantly burnt out, when we're constantly running on fumes, when we're feeling like we're not doing good enough, or we're not giving enough, or we're not high up enough, or didn't reach the goals that we thought we were going to reach by now, or whatever those things are that negative talk in our brain. So what we're going to think about today is meeting ourselves. Think about your favorite person in your life right now. This could be your best friend. This could be your dog. This could be your child. This could be your spouse, your partner, whoever it is. Somebody that you love here, like Kat. Somebody that just feeds your soul, right? That you just love and adore, and you just care about this person so much. I want you to think about this person, and I want you to think about knowing that this person is not practicing self-care at all, and they're putting themselves last, and how would you address this person? You probably wouldn't tell them like, you're doing a really crappy job at your self-care, exactly. You wouldn't be taking the stick and saying, go, right? However, we need to be kind and disciplined. So we need to have the compassion for ourselves and the grace for ourselves to know this is where I am today. It doesn't mean that it's a sentence from where I lived my life yesterday, and it certainly doesn't mean that it has to be all for tomorrow and that's it. No, it's not a linear process. This life is not linear. It's like the ocean. You and I are like waves in the ocean. And so that's how I literally came up with the WAVE system, because I sat with it for so long. I was in the fitness industry working with all these, honestly, celebrity and people that I'm like, wow, they have it all together, but then they really didn't necessarily have it all together. And then I was working with these families and I'm like, oh, they're just so cute and great and sweet and all this, but they really needed some cognitive behavioral help because nobody was communicating. So I started to recognize, well, we've all got stuff. We've all got stuff to work through, to build upon, and why not do it together? Why are we feeling like self-care needs to be this self-solitary act? Why is this something that we're feeling like we need this pressure tank to be by ourselves to do this thing, when in reality, we do so much better when we're together? So if you don't have an accountability partner here and now, even I would suggest get in the chat, send a message to a friend of yours. You know what? Go on to my DMs. I don't know if Kat wants to put my Instagram in the thing. I don't have it up right now and I can't chat on the Discord, but send me a direct message and let me know one area of your life that you're working on self-care, because I'll tell you something. When we have accountability, even if it's just a check-in here and there with somebody that cares and says, hey, how's that thing going? Chances are you're going to be much more likely to do it than if you were just trying to do it by yourself. That's why New Year's resolutions don't work. So here's how the W.A.V.E system works, and this is how it's going to work for you today. The W in the W.A.V.E system, you want to write this down. It means well-being. You need to decide what it means to be well. I'm going to give a perfect example, okay? I have spent years and years and years. This is a personal example. I have spent years diving into fitness and nutrition and sleep and stress and anxiety and depression and all sorts of areas, finances and running a business and being a mother and being a single mother, all these things that I've studied and studied and studied of how to practice self-care. But the one area in the last 2 years that's just like struck me so hard in the most beautiful, divine way has been my spiritual self-care. And the spiritual self-care for me personally is the one that I'm really putting all my energy as much as I can into in this coming year. And so I want you to think about, what does it mean to be well? So whatever area you choose, remember there's 6 of them, choose one and ask yourself, what does it mean to be well? Right here, right now. Maybe it's literally like, man, I just I want to get up and move my body a little bit like I did today with Tony. I want to start doing that more regularly. Or maybe it's, I want to start saying no to some of the things that I'm saying yes to, but I don't really want to be saying yes to. Define what it means to be well. Define what that would look like for you. And then really truly sit with that and ask yourself, what would that feel like if I was actively well in this area of my life, right? So I remember back in the day, I used to not be healthy, by the way. I used to not be fit. I was eating a pound of bacon and a pint of ice cream every single day of my life. This was literally after my dad passed away. That was like part of my grieving. And I slept like crap. I ate like crap. I did not exercise. I was super unhealthy. I had so many issues in my body. I was very disconnected, disassociated. And it took me actually saying, okay, what would it look like to be well? What would that look like? And I thought of people I knew that were physically well. I thought of people that I knew that when I was around that person, I was like, man, not just they look good, because one could look good but not feel good, but it was people that they had specific energy that I knew when I was around them, that's the kind of physical energy I want to have. That's the kind of vitality I want to have, right? So identify what that is. That's the W in the W.A.V.E system, okay? The A is awareness. The awareness, awareness, awareness. I can't shout this one from the rooftops enough, because I cry sometimes when I think about my younger self, or so many of these young women and men who are so stressed out trying to keep up, trying to, impress someone, or trying to be something that they're not, because they literally don't even know who they are, because they aren't even asking the question of who am I. They're constantly just judging and judging and trying to fit some mold, right? And we do this along the way in so many areas of our life. So asking yourself, what are you currently doing in your life today? And I'm asking you this, so please, if you are somebody that's chiming in on the chat, please share this so that this can inspire someone else, and I'll share as well. What are you currently doing today and through the last few weeks or months or maybe year or so of your life that is actively playing a role in what it is that would be well in your life, right? So that area that you're choosing to think about today. So I'm going to share something with you. I had a very, very intense, super intense dream about 2 years ago that was very biblical. And that was very strange for me, because I don't go to church. I was not associated to religion at that. There was a lot of stuff that for me, when I had that dream, it kind of freaked me out. And I had a lot that came through. However, fast forward 2 years later, what it's reminded me of is connecting back to the spirit, to the soul that resides within our body, and how important it was for me to take time to actively be that participant. And so what did I decide? I decided, okay, well, every day I'm going to meditate. I'm going to pray. I'm going to ask. I'm going to communicate with the spiritual realm. I'm going to open myself up in that way, in the degree that feels healthy. Now, I started to do that regularly. And things started to change in my life. And things started to improve in that way. And things started to feel better. I started having accountability. I started meeting people that all of a sudden were having conversations about God that I really had never had these kind of conversations with. And these are people that even if we had different opinions, we could absolutely listen to each other, respect one another, and wholeheartedly support with compassion whatever spiritual connection each other is having. And so I invite you today to embark on the journey and start right now, if you haven't already started, taking an action step every single day towards that wellness goal. So this is bringing us now from the awareness to the V, which is our vision. Our vision is our clarity. When we are clear about something, let's say, Kat knows she loves music. She has loved music all these years. She put it off. She, went and did other things. How many of us have done that? We're like, we have this deep inner yearning, this passion, this desire, this love for something in life. And a lot of times we give it up or we let it go because life, because of society, because of the story in our head, because of the finances around it, whatever it is. And sometimes, like in this instance, when it's actually, I believe, a spiritual gift, it comes back. It's always going to be there. And so when we can listen to that voice inside of our soul, we can start to take those action steps. So I want to first of all commend Kat for coming back to something that she clearly is so talented at, and we're so blessed to have her doing this. And it's also, once again, bringing people together in a healthy way. I never thought I was going to be chatting about this stuff on Twitch with a bunch of DJs and creative, but I love it. Like this is what we're here for. So the V, you've got to be clear. You have got to be clear of what it is you are asking the universe, yourself, your spirit, your soul, God, source, whoever you're turning to in your own life. You have got to be clear of what it is that you are believing. What is it that you are wanting to shift? What is it and start to think about what are those steps that it would take, right? So here's your wellness goal, right? You've got this wellness goal. I'm just going to use my personal one, right? This year it's been spiritual for me, and it's about relaunching my podcast and having these really uncomfortable conversations with people that, I've never would have seen myself as somebody that would have had a conversation and brought up Jesus or God or spirits or Buddhism or having these kind of conversations, because I'm not a theologist. I'm not a theologian. And at the same time, I think it is so important when we're really curious about something, when we have something in our heart, it's so important that we have these kind of conversations and come at it from a way of self-care. This is self-care. This is enhancing our well-being, our wisdom, our experience in this life, and this journey with the hopes, by the way, self-care is not for you. It is for you, but it's not just for you. Self-care is the most radical act that you can take so that you can show up and serve others. That's the whole point of self-care. Self-care isn't just so that you could live a long life and feel great. No, it's so you could literally withstand all of these waves that are crashing into you time after time when, literally like last night, for example, here in the Bay Area, this power plant just like blows up. Like, what is happening? Seriously, we're getting told to close all our windows because now there's destructive air, the bird flu virus. Now there's some kid in San Francisco that allegedly has it. Like, I know for a fact that if we can collectively bring the conscious energy into a more light state, I am 100, there's not a doubt in my mind that if we all practiced better self-care, we could 100% serve each other better. We could show up better. We could be kinder. We could have more compassion for one another. We could have open, candid conversations that are potentially about uncomfortable topics. We would feel better. It is there is not one iota of a doubt in my mind. And that's why I'm so passionate about this in every single area of life. Now, The E, this is the hardest part. The hardest part about self-care. It's not about deciding what it is. It's not about creating your well-being goal. It's not about setting your, intention and your awareness and getting your vision board. No, all that in a way is like the easy stuff. The E, this is what is going to make everything wrapped up with a bow and actively happen, is the energy. The energy that you put anywhere is going somewhere. Every word you speak, every thought you have, every feeling, it's all radiating outside of you. And it is also bringing stuff inside. And so you need to be incredibly thoughtful, incredibly intentional, and incredibly aware of your energy. Sometimes saying no is the greatest form of self care. Sometimes saying yes, even if you're not really feeling like it, is the greatest form of self care, especially, and here's the caveat to this, if you know by you showing up in any way could potentially inspire someone else or put a smile on someone's face, I'm going to invite you that even on your darkest days, even on the days when you really don't want to do it, to try your best, to just try, even if it's literally just getting outside and giving someone a smile, because you have no idea. None of us have any clue how many hardships each one of us is experiencing at any given time. And I will tell you, just based on the people I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so the more that we can show up, put the energy into practicing self-care and give ourselves compassion and grace and come from a place of love, the more we're going to raise the energetic vibration. Now, last but not least, so that's the WAVE system. W, well-being. What does it mean to be well? A, awareness. Make sure that you're aware of what you are currently doing. That's like checking in, like, what are your distractions? Do you ever do that? You go on your phone and like see what you're distracted by and know like, okay, this thing is actively taking some energy instead of feeding. Like we want the things that are plugging us in. We want the things that are helping us to feel our soul and our soul's love for humanity. Our soul's love for humanity is why we're here. We're not here to see how much money or how many followers or how many comments or likes or whatever. Awesome. Like, cool. What are we doing with that? Because if we're not really doing something with that, that's not, personally, I don't think that there's anything that we're going to do with that if we're not actively thinking about it. And we actively need to take action every single day. So, what does that mean for you? I hope that it means that you get an accountability partner today. I hope that it means that you reach out to me. I'm going to give you a gift, a free self-care guide. And this just has kind of the recap of the WAVE system, some journal prompts for you to think about. And, I understand self-care, it's not easy. And I am the first to tell you, I'm a full-time single mom of two. I am the first to tell you there are many days where I'm like, yep, right on top of that, Rose. I don't know when I'll get to it. The amount of times I've had to cancel things, the amount of times where people think I just don't want to see them because I can't make it or whatever else, or I've let someone, there are countless times. But I will tell you right now, getting up, making the non-negotiables of having my extra water, love my coffee, going for a walk every single day, like the simple things. But the most important that I hope that you think about today in your own life is faith. Faith, and I'm saying this in the most open sense. This has been my journey the last 2 years, and I would be absolutely lying if I didn't share this with you. And it's sometimes really hard to share. But if we don't have faith in humanity, if we don't have faith in our own spiritual journey, in our soul, in the others in this world around us, if we have zero, we've got to have faith. We have to have faith because that's going to be the driving force that keeps us practicing self-care even when it's really, really tough. So I hope today that you can think about the people in your life that inspire you. This is one of my favorite exercises. I know we're just wrapping up here, but call someone today that you love that inspires you and just let them know. Because I will tell you right now, the times that Kat's called me and she's like, I just want you to know you just inspired me. And I'm like, girl, I was just like picking myself up off the floor crying because it's been a day and I just really needed that more than you know. Like it is so amazing what happens when we support one another. So thank you so much for having me. I'm here to answer any questions. Kat, I love you. And I hope that this is helpful to at least one person today.
I think it was helpful to the, I think 38 plus people watching right now. And yeah, Jamie's my friend that we just text each other back and forth, I love you! And it makes me so happy. So if you ever get a random, I love you from me, that's why. Share it. All right, ones in chat or heart. Can we get some hearts in chat for Jamie? And Jamie, if you want to look on your Twitch, you can see chat.
Sure.
But I don't know if you can go out of Discord or what. Pull that window up.
I don't know if it'll like.
We'll find out.
I'm gonna do it real quick.
Team good
Am I
enough.
still there?
Yeah, you're still there. So all those hearts in chat are for you.
Aw, thank you.
Teapot, yo, Heather, Dead
Well, and
Pixel,
please,
Self Love House.
if anyone has a question, or if a question, or if anybody too has a specific thing to ask, I'm always open to those. But ultimately, I just know for sure if we can take little action every day, baby steps too. Don't try to do the whole thing at once, just little baby steps, and know that you're probably going to not be able to some days, and that's okay too. Like, the grace is really important for ourselves. But thank you, Kat.
Had to type there. Okay, so if you guys want to hop in our Discord, I will share her self-care guide on that. There's also one I'm going to drop into chat really quick. Jamie, thank you so much. I also love the fact that you're actually sitting in front of a little DJ controller. I know it's sitting there.
Oh yeah, does anybody want to see how cool
Yes, show them. This is Sound Union. We're going to do some streaming events out of there, by the way. Oh, where is it? It's usually sitting right there. Yeah, so they have like a DAW and all sorts of stuff. This is the coolest place. So if you guys want to come to Redwood City, oh yeah, party's on. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. So y'all, this has been the Global Beats Festival. This is the first time they've done the fusion stage where we have brought health, wellness, spirituality, soul sessions, in addition to their 3 other days of music streaming that y'all actually know me for. Yeah, just get on your train, Dead Pixel. You're good. Self-love, thank you for sending the message. So if you all want to get into our Discord, I will send you the workbook I made, Jamie's workbook. She's also, like I said, a published author. So we'll link that in there as well. And I know you have to run, Jamie. You have a hard go. So.
Yes, but thank you all so much, Kat. I love you. I adore you. And everything you're doing is just so fabulous, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
I wouldn't be here without you. So takes a village, right?
It takes a village. All right. Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, now I'm the only one in here, and I only have one hand. We can do this chat. Hang on. Oh, wait, you know what? There we go. Oh, fuck me. It was working earlier. Oh, well. Anyway, just me here. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you took something from that. Obviously, it's not the normal music. I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m.-ish Pacific. I know. Someone put Cat in the corner. So we're going to raid over in just a minute to M's a Gem. Actually, let me see if I can just kill Discord really quick. Bam. Kill that. I don't know why this one's all special. Nope. Wrong one. Fuck. It was like working earlier. Well, whatever. Anyway, it's only for a minute. So, DJ Cherry, what you just got there? Teapot, it meant so much to you. I'm so glad you were here for that. I'm going to stop recording this, but this is going to be up on YouTube. So please check it out there. Jewel, if you can drop the link in chat.